My name is Daniela Sullivan. I go by D because Daniela is difficult for some people. Please excuse the noise in the background. We have cats, and apparently they've decided to run and play while I decided to do this. And this is the best time of day for me to get this done. I apologize in advance. So the reason for the tutorial is to teach you how to make the Ukraine blanket, which is a flag of their homeland colors, okay? The flyer that I'm going to attach this video to will have a brief but pretty detailed explanation of why I am doing what I'm doing. And so I want to keep this short. I will be upfront with you. I have staged these so that this tutorial won't be too long. So let's get started. The first thing to do with the chunky blanket is these are the two colors. You get them at Hobby Lobby when they're on sale. They go on sale for 30% quite often. And here are the colors, which is a mustard. I know you saw that, folks, and I'm just going to keep on going. There's the mustard, and it's Yarn Bee. And here's the country blue, and it's also Yarn Bee. Oh, Lord have mercy. Nugget. The box is not for you to play in right now. Say hello to Nugget. Say goodbye to Nugget. All right. So, here we go. So, in order to start this, what you're going to do is chain. What I love about this process, really, is that it's super easy. And for those who've ever crocheted, it's basically crocheting with your fingers, except for you don't flip the blanket. You'll see in just a second, okay? So, to start it, you're going to always have the yarn going in the direction that you're going. So to begin this, to me it's almost like a hitch when you're hitching up a horse or tying up a horse. You make that type of knot. So you're gonna go like this, okay? Think of it as the breast cancer ribbon. And you're going to take and you're going to push your yarn through the loop. Pull it through to the right because that's where you start. You don't want to make it too big because you're going to pull this, which is your end piece. You're going to pull that to tighten it. And that's going to give you a loop. Okay? Now, the yarn, once it's looped like that, you make your chain. To make the chain, you simply pull the yarn through, and you're going to pull it so that your, I call it my adjustment yarn, is on top because that's the direction that we're going. So you make it about 2 fingers, 20 of them. So you may hear me count. So let's do, we have number 3. To be honest, I like to leave it on the table because I do like to get the chain as precise as I can. You don't want a blanket that's wobbly on the sides. Those of us who've crocheted have dealt with that for a long time. So that's number 3. Here's number 4. 5. I'll get my rhythm in a minute, I'm sorry. There's 6. And the good thing about having the adjustment there is that if it's too big and you don't like it, you can pull it out and start over. Or just redo that one. There's 6. There's 7. That one's a little big for me. There's 8. Sorry if I pay attention to what I'm doing, but I want to do it correctly for you. So just bear with me while I count and I do the chain. We're going to do a chain of 20, okay? That's a good size to fit in a shoebox. And these go in shoe boxes. And if you happen to make these on your own without having any connection with me, you'll see that Samaritan's Purse is involved with this. I have spoken with them and they said they have to be in shoe boxes. One skein per blanket. One blue, one mustard. Okay? And you'll put it in the shoebox, take it to the drop-off point, and then they will look at it, make sure that it's okay, and then they will get it there. They will get it where it needs to go. So let me count because I was talking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 15, and that one's too big. Okay. 16. You don't want to make your loops too big. If you make your loops too big, you're going to get a looser blanket, yes, but you're also going to get a blanket that's going to be too big or not quite look like the flag and really help cover the child or wrap the child. That is 19, and that is 20. I like to always keep my yarn loose normally. Sorry. This is my first ever, so whatever mistakes I'm making, I apologize in advance. I'm not a professional. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and it's important to count and to keep track. 19, and there's our 20th. And what I like to do is stretch it out, look at it, make sure they all look, that each chain kind of looks good. You don't want them too big. And the end one, I always leave a little smaller for personal preference. Okay, so there's your chain. Now, what you're going to do to continue with this is you're going to take your yarn, you'll move it on that side. Then you're going to take number 20 right here. And when you pull the yarn through this time, you are going to pull it through, but you are putting your yarn in the direction that you're going. So you're going to pull up. Okay? You're going to pull up like that. I leave the end one shorter. Sorry. I pull it shorter because I want to get that chained look on the sides. You don't want it sloppy loose. I don't want it sloppy loose. Okay, so then what you do, this is what makes this so much fun and so easy. Here's your yarn. Instead of crocheting and sticking the needle in and twisting and stuff, you take your finger, you pull it through. And one of the things that I do is I make sure that I like to make sure that my loops are pretty much the same size without having to measure. So I just pull it straight. And I just check it out as it goes. I'm going to do a couple of rows like this, okay? They tell you not to do this. Don't sit on your couch and do it this way because it won't come out well. So I'm just going to show you because I want to make sure you understand how to put it through. Here's your next loop. I push with this finger, I pull, and I pull. And I like to do it on a good flat surface so that I can check it, and I pull it. See how nice and flat that makes it? Makes it a lot easier to work with. And then when you get the hang of it, it goes so fast. And I pray over these. Alright, so we're going to do this row. Again, see how I do that? I like it straight. That gives you a good foundation. You want a good foundation. And after all, for me anyway, it's important because I'm doing this as if I'm doing it unto the Lord, because the Lord gave me the passion the purpose of why I'm doing this. And so maybe I'll tell you a little bit of that while I'm doing that. The reason this came about is because as I was watching the beginning of the war, I watched the coverage of the 200 orphaned children whose orphanage had been bombed, and they were walking into Poland. And my heart shattered, because my mother was a child of World War II. She was 5 when the German Gestapo or police, whatever you want to call them, came to her home and asked my grandfather, her dad, were there any weapons? And he said, no weapons. And little 5-year-old Hildegard said, but Papa, what about the ones under the bed? And Papa got carted off to prison camp. He did get released. And unfortunately, my mother's life changed dramatically after that. And she was never the same. And it tainted her life with a lot of tragedy. I don't want one Ukraine child to have to go through what my mom had to go through and live through. And I'm hoping and I'm believing and I'm praying that these blankets will bring them some kind of comfort, some kind of peace, some kind of safe feeling. Okay, so I'm at this end. Now, I'm going to move my yarn. Sorry. And I'm going to go this way to the right again. Okay? And again, the last one I make smaller. And I will pull it through. This time you're going to take it and you're going to pull it through. And you're going to pull this to the right. So you pull to the left when you're going left and you pull to the right. And again, I leave my ends a little smaller so that my edges are cleaner. And you're going to do this. And you're going to keep going back and forth. There's no flipping. Now, one thing I do want to tell you. You see this loop? It's facing down. You have to pay attention. If they're facing down or twisted, you want to leave them just like they are. That's another good reason to lay them flat. That way you'll know which way you're going and you won't have one like this. So that's why I do that. It helps and it makes it faster, because you don't want to have to undo it when you've missed one. I've never done that. Really? I've undone several because I tend to have a perfectionist when I'm doing things for others. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and because I'm taking shortcuts so this video is not dramatically long, just so you know, my grandfather did survive. He did come home, but it changed Mom, and there's a whole story in that, isn't there? But my heart broke for these children. I don't want to see one Ukraine child live through what my mother lived through and then think that nobody cares. And I want them to know that God cares and that we care and we see it. I really would like to see this go nationwide, worldwide. It doesn't have to be just nationwide, worldwide. There's over 4 million plus kids, and every day that number grows. How many of them will be raised by a single mother because of this? This, I'm hoping, will help ease a mom's struggle some, and the child will welcome it and just love it. Okay, when I get to the end of this one, I will show you how to do the next row, and then I'm going to move on and show you the next step, okay? So, again, to the right, pull it down, just to check it. You don't want them too tight. If you have them too tight, they're stiff, they're not loose, they're not soft as they are if they're a little loose. So 2 fingers like this should be big enough. That's what I use as my gauge. Forgive me if I go quiet. I just want to do this in a quick way. This is my first one ever. Your patience and the gratitude I have for anybody that looks at this and passes it on or wants to take part in it. If you're local, I'll come work with you on them. If there's a church that has a women's group that would love to sit down, bring the yarn, I'll come. We'll do it together and have fellowship as we pray over these. Okay, so now you technically have 3 rows because this is the first one, second one, third one. So I'm going to show you one more time, one more row. I apologize if there are some of you out there that said, I know, I get it. I just want to be certain. Okay, push through, and again, we're going to the left with the yarn. And now that when I get it to where I have a little bit, I just start putting my arm on it, and I just start rocking and rolling. Because once you've got that space there, then I just take a second and I pull just to make sure where I'm at. Makes it easy, and it makes it fun when you don't have to sit there. I mean, I loved crocheting, but checking where I'm at in it, hated doing that part. This, you can see it right in front of you because it's big, it's thick, it's chunky, it's soft. And I'm excited about making them. Okay, now I'll do one really slow again, okay? This is your loop that you just made. You're going to take this, you're going to pull it through and pull. And when you get this far, it's so much easier to see that your loops are as they should be. That's just my personal preference. It makes a nicer, neater blanket. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, we're getting near the end. I'm going to show you what we do when this is done, and it will take this whole skein. And you should have about that much left over if you've kept your blanket the same tautness and the same, finger width and stuff. That's a pretty good judge on how you've done as far as the tension of the loops and stuff. I had to learn that the hard way too. Okay, so here's a good foundation. There'll be 13 rows, usually 13, 14 rows, okay, 20 chain, and then 13 rows, okay? So the next part I'm going to show you is what it looks like when we move on. I'm sorry, I'm putting this where a cat can't get it. Okay, so this is now the bottom part of the flag. And like I said, when you get to the ends here, you should have about the same amount of yarn. And see how nice. And the thing is, they can choose which pattern. This is your typical chain stitch pattern. And that is a different, just smooth pattern. So they can do it either way they like. I personally like this. Okay, so now we're going to begin with the blue. Would you? Okay, so here is our finished yellow part. I'm glad I'm not doing live. Okay, and you're going to take, okay, if you remember, everything we've done has been through the back. To make this, I call it the unity cord for them. In order to make that look so puffed up and pretty, you're going to put your blue through the front of the yellow. And I leave about that much yarn. And then you're going to take your last loop that you did going back the same direction that you just quit going, and you're going to pull through. Now what I do is I take my adjustment one and I pull it a little tight so that that is a little tight. Okay. And then you have your first loop. Okay. And the reason that you want this loop on the end is because when you get to the end, you want to have the same yellow and blue. Okay. So, super easy. Take your finger, pull it through the front, pull, keep your yarn in the front, and again, loosely, not too tight. Pull it through. I get, like I said, I do about 2 tugs. I know definition of a tug for some people is different, but I like to see the fluffy. Do you see the fluff? Can you tell it's fluffy? Some kids like to rub things. I had even thought about getting a blue ribbon for small children because babies love to run their fingers and rub satin. So I thought if I could find just some blue satin, I could interweave it for them. But this is what I've decided to do. And pull it through the front, yarn to the right. I take my thumb. I'm holding my blue and yellow together so I don't pull too tight. That's always a good thing to do. And then I make sure that my loops, I'm going to slide this down, that my loops are how I want them. It'll be okay, don't worry, they're not too short or anything. Okay, then again, make sure that your loops are facing the right direction, away from you, not towards it. Make sure they're not twisted. Okay. Pull it through, tug, pull it through, tug, take it, pull it through, 2 fingers, here, 2 fingers, take it, put your fingers, your thumb and your first finger there, push, pull it through, 2 fingers. If you need to do it that way, do it that way. Whatever works for you. Okay, so we're getting down to the end. Again, I'm holding and I'm pushing. It's kind of how my mom taught me to crochet, wrapping the yarn around my finger and holding it so that I could try to keep the tension the same. Yeah, I really failed at that miserably sometimes. Okay, now, sorry, not allowed. Okay, now we're going to go like we did with the mustard, like we did with the bottom of the flag. We're going to look at this. We're going to make sure all our loops are straight. All our loops are nice and loose. I like to straighten them. Like I said, it's just something I do. But you don't want to pull too hard because then you will pull the blue through. So you don't want to do that on that first row. Okay. Now, if you want to make it easier, here's your first one. You're not going to change this part. So you're going to go that way. You're going to take your yarn and you're going to put it towards the back. And then you're going to take the yellow and you're going to pull it through. And you're going to pull the blue and the yellow towards the back, and then that way you can tie it and you'll have your end looking like the rest of it. Isn't it fun? I love it. I do. I just love it. It's so much fun. And once you get good at it, and it doesn't take long to get good at it, you can make one of these blankets, 2 skeins, in about an hour, if that much. I usually make mine sitting on the couch with a TV tray, But since I decided to do this, I'm finding that I like sitting here and doing this. I'll put some K-Love on in the background. I'll do some praise and worship. I'll pray. So you're at the end. Your blue is on the front. To get the same look of the blue, then you're going to go behind the blue. Again, put your finger on this part, pull through, and you're going to start your loops again, going the direction that your yarn is. Here's the flyer. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is going to be on my page. If anybody wants me to email them a copy of the flyer, I'll be more than happy to do that. It tells you about the purpose. And like I said, I will have my own Facebook page. I've been told I can do that, so I'm going to try to add it. But if I can't, it'll be on my regular page as a post. So, we are at the end. Okay, this is how we are going to finish this. And I normally finish going this way. So I know I'm a little long on this, but you know what, that's okay. We'll do it. So I have my end. I'm going to pull it through, again going to the left. Then I'm going to, here's the end. I made it smaller. Okay, gotta make it a little bigger because it's gonna stretch. Okay, so then here's my next loop. I'm going to pull this loop through like this and make it a little bigger, and then I pull it through the end and I make a chain. Watch again. So now I'm going to pull it through. Let me show you how to start that again, okay, because it took me a while to remember it. So I made another loop like I'm starting a new chain, because I am. And I put this through and I pulled it, and then I took this one, pull it through the one in front, and you pull it the direction you're going. After you do that beginning, make sure it's loose. You don't want a tight top because that makes the whole blanket whopper-jawed or tight. And then I take my next loop, I pull it through, and again, I'm going to pull it through. There's my second chain, and I'm hoping you can see that. Then, and this you can do this way because I do a little bit bigger than 2 because, like I said, I don't want it tight. Okay, pull it through, take your one like this, take this, pull it through, there's your next one. You go to your next loop, you pull it through, and you pull it through, and you push it through to the front, grab a hold, put it through the center of the previous one you did, and pull. It doesn't look like it's going to be close. It's going to be a little close because I think I did one extra row, but that's all right because I have extra glue, so it isn't going to hurt me to add a little at the end if I need to. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to pull through. I'm going to pull through and make my chain. Okay, as you can see, I'm just a tad short, but the great news is, because of a different project, I have this. So I will add this, and the best way to add it is to tie it. Now, the way I've been watching them tie, because I'm still learning and stuff, But what I do is I try to make a flat tie. So you put it around here and then I hold this. To me, everything's about holding, I guess. And then I come back around from the back to the front and then I pull sideways because you want it to be as close to the thickness as you can get. So see, you can't really see that. You're going to cut those off. But I also pull this way. Don't pull too hard or you will break your yarn. And you don't want to do that. And I have scissors. Sorry. And then I go ahead and I cut this. And then and you can pull the fuzz, the leftovers. But what I do is I just cut the tops off. So you try to get it as close to you can, close to it as you can. Then you have this. And so instead of sitting or pulling, I just cut the tips off to make it match the thickness. Okay. No, it does not do anything to the knot. See, it's there. It's solid. Okay? So, now we're going to continue. Your hope is that you don't have to do that, but sometimes you might. This winter, when they do the shoebox campaign of Stuff the Shoebox for Christmas, we're still going to be making blankets. I'm praying that people are going to continue to make blankets. There's over 4 million children displaced now. Imagine how large that number could get. And Samaritan's Purse even suggested that we do that, that we continue to make them and have them stockpiled and ready to go at Christmas, because they will really appreciate them, and it would be awesome for them to light up when they see it in their box. Something that they probably never had before, I'm certain. So, okay, we're about to wrap it up. Here we go. This is, we got 4 more to go. Here we go. Through. Here you go. Lay it flat. Pull. Pull it through. Pull it through. And pull that way. Pull it through. And just so that it, unless it's not clear, when you're doing this, your adjustable is going to be on top. You're going to keep it that way, and you're going to pull this through. Get. I apologize if you saw little Miss Boo Boo climb up here. Yes, I have made some for the kitty cats, and they love them, as you can tell. And there's this one. Again, my yarn is there. I'm pulling this through. And if I need to, see, I can pull more and make it bigger. We are at the end, and I make the end a little smaller because, again, I don't want it whopper-jawed or loose. Okay, so this one is your end piece. I'm pulling it through. I'm pulling it through the end. And then this is how you finish, okay? Some people finish this way, some people do it differently. Everybody has their own method, but whatever works, works, okay? So I will take this, and because I don't have that much left, I'm going to pull it through all the way. Normally I don't have that much. And then I just, this thread, or this yarn's a little bit tougher to pull for some reason, but that's okay, it makes it tighter. And you just pulled it, I just pulled it. Now, I'm particular, I don't want it to come undone. So I will take and I will push this through, and I will make another one. Okay, I will make another small one, and I will go through the front to the back, And that gives me 2 ties. And then if you leave a little bit and you're one of those that likes to put the yarn through the other strands, I know we do that a lot sometimes with other things that I've made. You can, but I don't like to because it changes the thickness and dynamics. So you've got 2 solid there, and your end is there. And again, I will cut the tops. I will finish this tying off so it's tied. I don't want to make it any tighter because I want the yellow to stand out. And so I will take the blue and again, I'm particular. So I will tie, make sure it's good and tight. And it's already looped through, so it's not going to come undone. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through all this. I really do. And I really hope that people will help. Okay, so now, so you don't have that, what I will do is I will take, and I can push it through, and you still have your blue and yellow on the end. I don't think anybody's going to be upset if there's a little bit showing. So if you perfect it and you don't have that, that's awesome. Share it with me. And that's the truth. If you guys see me doing this and you say, oh wait, there's something I can show you, please do. So this one last end, we are going to finish it off like we did the other. We will tie it like we did at the beginning, but I will also do another one and go through just to make sure it's tied. There we go. Oh, that's why you don't pull too hard. You don't want to. And I do it however you can do it to make it so it's good and snug and not break it. Okay. There's my cut. My final cut. All right, you guys, guess what? We now have a Ukraine flag blanket. An hour prayer over it. 2 skeins of yarn. And look, you may not think that's very big, but by the time they get it and they start messing with it and they stretch it and they pull it and they do the things, it's going to be perfect for them. And after all, that's what it's about. If you have any questions, if you want to reach me, private message me. I'm open. I am free to help. I'm retired, but I do have a big farm family here to take care of. I want to get this done, people. Let's get this done. I believe that we can get this done. Please help me. I don't want your money. I need your hands. I need people being able to do this. Let's make this thing go viral. Let's make this go worldwide. Let's show Ukraine that we as a nation support them. And individually, those of us that have laid our hearts into this with our hands and prayed over this, let's get it in their hands, okay? God bless you for your time. Thank you, and be blessed. And please don't be shy to make any comments or advice or anything. I'll take anything. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.